Hi, I'm Tess,
Hi, I'm Sarah, and we are.
the Happy Edit Sisters. Happiness isn't just being happy, it's an embodied feeling that starts with how we approach life, our actions, and our mindset. Everyone has a range of emotions, and that's a good thing.
Join us as we dive into what it means to be happy and how we build a foundation for happiness through different lenses.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Tess.
So, we have a special guest joining us today.
We do. We've got Michael coming on today, who's my brother.
Yes, and my husband. And so, just to give you a little background, Michael is not only just Sarah's brother and my husband, he is a professional actor and a beer brewer. He has worked in most mediums of acting, including music videos, voice work, and films, but his main areas of work have always been in the theatre. And a little over 10 years ago, he moved to Spain, which is where we met, where he has worked for an educational touring theatre company ever since. Aww, because of me.
Hello. I don't think I've ever been introduced quite so professionally as that. It makes me feel really good about myself. I'm professional.
Ah, well, you are professional, my love.
Sometimes.
So, Michael, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, so I have a size 9 feet. No.
He wishes.
Yeah, so obviously as the introduction has just said that I'm a touring theatre actor and a beer brewer, so that's not necessarily two things that normally go together.
But it's a good combination.
Yeah, it works, because having another type of job would probably bore me and not make me happy. And that's what this podcast is all about, right? Being happy.
So it is.
So, yeah, I started acting and doing theatre things when I was a kid, really. I think people just thought I was melodramatic and said that I should go and get on a stage.
I think that is what we said.
Yeah, it definitely is what people said. So I was probably... I think the earliest memory I have of theatre is being King Henry VIII in year 4 with Miss Doherty.
And just so everyone knows, what is year 4? How old are you then?
Year 4's primary school, you're probably 7?
Maybe 8, maybe?
Yeah, 7, 8. I guess earlier than that I was a robin in the Nativity, which one of the...
Oh, here I was thinking Robin Hood.
No, a robin, a bird.
Did you not play a tree at one point?
I'm sure I've played many trees. I'm very good at playing trees, especially in the wind. But yeah, so I started doing theatre as a kid and then carried that on as an adult. Studied theatre at university in Liverpool. And then, yeah, I just carried that on. And here I am in Spain 10 years later from starting this job of going, oh, I'm going to go for a year, maybe 2 years. I saw an advertisement for this job, which is with a theatre company called Moving On, which is the oldest educational theatre company in Spain for teaching English, which is the main drive of what we do. We do shows in English all around Spain, touring every little bit of Spain in our van. And yeah, we do theatre in English as a medium for people to learn English and have fun, because let's be honest, the best way of learning anything is if you're enjoying yourself. And that is the main push of what we want people to do. If they've enjoyed themselves first, that's amazing. And then if they've felt like they've learnt a little bit of English, or they've got an affirmation of going, I actually do speak English, then that's even better for us. It shows that we've done our job.
Tess, I think you can vouch for this as well, that I've took my kids and my husband to see Michael a couple of years ago, and yeah, it was fun, really, really fun.
Oh yeah, I try to go every year. As long as it's like somewhere nearby that I can make, because like they go all over Spain, so very far away from where we live.
And I think you've been 3 or 4 times this year.
Yeah, I've been a lot this year because I helped film at the beginning so you guys could practice a little bit more. But yeah, no, it's a really fun show, and it always makes me laugh, and just watching the kids get up. And one of the things that I like most about it is it's not just that they're learning English, but they're also learning like how to connect with themselves in a different way, and like show off their skills in a different way, to laugh at themselves when they're, when things get a bit silly. And I love the fact that like you're able to really give these kids an opportunity that they probably would never get.
Yeah, I should probably pull you back there and say, obviously, yeah, you said get the kids up, because as part of the show, we always get 6 participants up out of the audience. Usually one in the first half that's a helper, assistant in any sort of way, capacity. For example, of the 2 shows that we do this year, we're doing this year, because we always do a primary show, which goes from 6 years old up to 12, and then the other show we do is teens and adults, so it's from 13 to 99, over 100 if you make it that far and you want to come and see Moving On. And yeah,
do it.
Exactly, I definitely say that. But yeah, we get 5 or 6 participants up, and the second half is just the driver for those guys to get up on stage, use some English, have fun, and experience being up on stage in front of all of their friends, which is not as easy as some people may or may not think, especially when you've got 300 of your peers and you're a teenager in the theatre. It's quite nerve-wracking for them. So we just facilitate that. And it's quite fun.
I think I would definitely be that person in the audience with my head down, going, "Don't pick me, don't pick me."
So would I, though, as ridiculous as that sounds. Myself and my work colleague, Fee, we both say the same thing, that if we were in the audience, we would definitely have our heads down and be like, nope, I don't want to get up. But obviously when we put our different hats on, so I put my Harry hat on, Harry being the character that I play. As soon as I put my Harry hat on, then I'll get up, don't worry about it, it's fine.
And from experience, Michael's much more likely to push someone else next to him if it looks like somebody is going to come up to us like, "Ooh, take her, take my wife."
Yeah, and knowing that when I'm choosing participants and people out of the crowd, I tend to get the person that's pushing their friend up. So if you're listening to this and ever you come to a Moving On show, if I walk towards you and you decide, I'm going to push my friend Francesca, let's say, up, then I'm probably going to choose you instead.
So nice. So nice of you, my love.
It is what it is.
So can you tell us a little bit about why you got into brewing? Because I'm sure a lot of the listeners are like, okay, we get that he's a professional actor, that's awesome, but the brewing, where does that come in?
Yeah, I guess the theatre makes sense considering that that's where I trained, right? So the beer brewing came from essentially because of the COVID-19 pandemic and the lockdown and all of that fun stuff. So my friends and I, these 4 of us, we now own our own brewery and business. The 4 of us decided during the pandemic, a lot of the bars were closed, but we still wanted to be able to have a drink and socialise and blow off some steam that way. And a couple of us had already brewed some beer. I'd brewed some beer with my brother-in-law in the United States, so Tess's youngest brother, Lee, who is still older than Tess because she's the youngest child.
I'm the baby.
So I'd already brewed with Lee, and a couple of the others had done little bits of brewing with friends and things like that. So the 4 of us decided, let's brew some beer together and see if it's any good. And touching wood, we didn't have any exploding bottles and things like that, because you'll prime the bottles, you might put some sugar in there to carbonate the beer when you're towards the end of the process, and that's when the fun can start and you over carb, you put too much sugar in there and the bottle goes boom. And we didn't have any of that, and we've not so far, so touch
all
wood.
Good.
And yeah, we basically brewed some beer, and let our friends try it, and they said, "Oh, that's really good." So we were like, "Oh, well, let's brew some more beer," and they said, "Oh, that's also really good." So it eventually ended up with us brewing 10 different types of beer to get a little bit more idea of different varieties and different styles. Some friends put money into that so that we could buy some small equipment, and then they were the ones that were the friends and fools for trying all of those different styles of beer. And that's from there is where the business was born, to be honest. And we've been going for 2 years now in our local market here in Asturias, and it's pretty good. It's fun.
Yeah, it's super fun. It's been really fun to see you guys grow. You know, starting with just the beer as a hobby, just like as you said, just kind of
Bathtub brewing.
get together, make some beer, have some guy time, and then to it going like, oh, actually, let's make 2,000 liters. And then you go around to all these different bars and you're talking to all these people and the community that you've started creating around you, which is pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, the jump from 30 litres to 2,000 litres, that was a scary
Yes.
jump, because obviously the economies of scale changed quite a lot there, of going, oh, it's going to cost €20 to make this amount of beer, to going, oh, this costs €2,000 to make this amount of beer. That's, oh, okay. But no, exactly. We were able to create a community, and because obviously, so the four of us have all been here in Asturias for quite some time now. So we've got different groups of friends, and a couple of the lads work in big companies. So they have quite a lot of work colleagues, and word can spread that way through those guys. So yeah, we tend to, if we have an event, we tend to get quite a few people coming to the events, and everybody comes and enjoys themselves. We've so far done 2 summer festivals where we're lucky that we have access to a farm where we have planted our own hops, and we've just started to use those. And because of that, we're able to use that land in the summer, and we have a big party.
Which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, big barbecue, some beer, some music, and some fun.
So, Michael, I don't think you've told us what the name of the company's called.
I haven't, yeah. It's So originally the beer company was called Del Norte, from the north, because we're 4 Northern Europeans. That has now changed to Green Mountain, the fun legal things. So Green Mountain currently is the name of the brewery. So watch this space.
All right. This is awesome. Thank you so much for giving your background a little bit to let people get to know you a little bit more.
And for anyone that's not nodded off already because I've bored you to tears with this, we've got more questions. So let's go.
We've got a lot more questions. All right. So Michael, what does happiness mean to you?
That feels like a loaded question.
From
No.
your wife.
Yeah, exactly. Michael, what makes you happy? No, so happiness to me probably, obviously being happy. No, I reckon for me personally, happiness is, I wouldn't say stress-free, because obviously I don't think anything is stress-free. Being relaxed, being around people that you enjoy spending time with. Usually, I'd say I'm probably fairly extroverted. I don't think people would describe me as an introvert. So I think personally, happiness for me would be being in public, being with people. And yeah, just relaxing really. Or going on a hike. So that's not really relaxing, but it's being out there in nature.
I find it relaxing.
Yeah, because you're a little bit strange. But no, I think happiness to me means lots of different things. I don't think you can find happiness in just one single thing. If I was to nail it down, probably I'm at my happiness when I'm on the stage, being a clown. Which is life, right?
Most definitely.
All the world's a stage.
I think that's awesome that you point that out, though, that happiness isn't just one thing, right? There's all these different nuances, and it doesn't really mean, okay, just because you're doing this thing, you're always going to be happy, right? Like, I like that you kind of brought up that it's this spectrum.
Yeah, and especially that actually it's okay to experience that little bit of stress in life as well, and that doesn't necessarily mean that we're unhappy. It's part of life, and it's those normal range of emotions that we've kind of spoke about before as well. Michael, over the years, because obviously I've known you for quite a long time now.
1 or 2 years,
has your perception of happiness changed over the years?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think if it hadn't, people would probably be a little bit worried. If the same things today now at 34... if the same things at 34 made me happy as when I was 18, I think my progression and sort of development as an adult would have failed. I mean, obviously some of the same things make me happy. But yeah, no, of course my perception of happiness has changed. I think when I was younger, I would have probably said, right, in order for me to be happy when I'm in my 30s, I have to have, I don't know, an Aston Martin and a big house and a swimming pool, and I'll probably live in Spain. So on that list there, I've done one of those things. I do live in Spain.
Is the Aston Martin being ordered?
Yeah, but it's really strange. So because of the problem with the chips, it's just been delayed.
There is no Aston Martin coming. Just for everyone to be very clear.
No, Tess won't let me buy one.
Am I right remembering, Michael, as a child, we spoke about getting some sports car, and was it Auntie Janet or somebody that bought a little dinky one?
Yep, it was. I think she bought me a Ferrari dinky car.
Yeah. He's tried to water it, but it's not grown into a big
not
one
grown.
yet.
And also this same Auntie Janet, I did say when I was really young that I would have a big house and I'd build her a granny flat.
Yeah.
I have offered the spare room of our flat here in Gijón, but she's not taken me up on it yet. But no, yeah, to go back to the question, of course, yeah, my perception of happiness has changed over the years. At the threat of sounding like an old man, just having a cup of tea or a coffee and sitting on the couch is probably really happy nowadays.
Well, I think it's interesting too, right? Like just we've known each other for a little over a decade now.
Yep.
And even just like the foods that you eat, the different foods that you eat, and then what makes you happy, right? When we first met,
don't know what you're talking about.
When we first met, it was like, all right, like potatoes and a steak.
But just to stop you here, I do still really love potatoes.
Especially when they turn into chips.
Especially when they turn into chips. You're getting at that there wasn't any fish.
There wasn't any fish
diet,
and
really.
seafood in your diet. You would have never gone for that. You would never gone, oh, I really want like those bay scallops, right? And
which are delicious, by the way.
which now you're like on the menu, you're like, oh, guys, can we get bay scallops?
Yeah, I am usually the first person to try and order them. So yeah.
Yeah, so it's just interesting to like. Happiness comes in, as we were talking about, happiness comes in so many different nuances, whether that's the food you eat, the people you hang out with, the activities that you do. And it's just fun to see how those things change within ourselves, and then also see how they change within people that we're close to, right? And allowing those things to change and not, feel upset about, oh, well, you didn't used to eat that. Like, why would you want to eat that now? Like, oh, that's awesome. I'm glad you eat that now.
Yeah, I find it, well, we're currently in Spain at the moment, which is very, very exciting. And the other night we had like a little banquet, didn't we, of lots of different types of fish and prawns and... Yeah,
it was quite tasty, I'm not going to lie. I did then complain though because my hoodie that I was wearing and t-shirt that I was wearing, I didn't realise until the day after, but they then did smell of seafood, and I still wasn't overly chuffed with that.
Yeah, they went straight into the wash, didn't they?
Yep, because I'm still a bit of a child at heart.
See, you can bring the man to Spain, but you can't take the Manchester out of the man.
Exactly.
Michael, what do you do to support your own happiness? What are those things that you fit into your maybe daily life or your, overall idea of how to make yourself happy when you're not feeling happy?
Probably nowhere near enough. I know that Tess will agree with me here because she says, no, you need to do this and blah, 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 which, she's right. So, no, probably I try to take a little bit of time out because, as I've said already here, that people would probably typify me as a bit of an extrovert. But I think at heart I probably am fairly introverted. So I think in order for me to stay sane and like not go into a bit of I have to take time to myself sometimes. And I think, that's something when I was younger I definitely didn't really do. Because I think I felt like I was possibly being rude or whatever. If you're in a big group of people and you go, actually, I just need to escape for 5 minutes in order to look after myself for a minute. So I probably didn't really do that when I was younger, and I've definitely learned to do that and go, right, I just need to take 5 minutes. And I think things like, as childish as this sounds as a fully grown adult, also playing games, whether that's on my phone or on my PlayStation or wherever. I think, I try to go, right, I'm just going to go and play this game for half an hour. Not that I'm advocating everyone plays lots and lots of video games, because that's probably also not...
But we play a lot of board games too with our friends.
Yeah, no, we do, because, you've got to keep your mind active. It keeps you young.
And it's okay to embrace the inner child.
Yeah, I mean, playing is important. Whether you're 2 or 3 years old, or you're 34, or you're 65 or 100.
I'm really hoping that's the last time I mention my age, by the way.
He's my older brother.
Sarah wishes.
I think as well, having I have a fairly active social life, which is, obviously where it came in handy when I started the brewery, being an active social person. And I think I find if I'm having a bad day or whatever, I think going, okay, well, I'll take a little bit of time for myself, and then I'm going to go out and go for a walk or meet up with a friend or something like that, because I find that's the way that I do that, to be honest.
I think that's really important, and I really like the idea, Michael, that you say about kind of just needing that time to yourself and that time out, and especially because you are so sociable and you do describe yourself as being an extrovert, but I can definitely see that introverted part of you as well, and probably always have done, knowing you for 36 years.
Yeah, I think people that don't know me wouldn't see the introverted side, so they always and obviously therefore when you're out with people that might not know you quite as well, there is that slight expectation from people that they're going to go, oh, you're going to be the sort of life and soul of the party, to use a cliched dito, what's that in English? I can't remember. Saying, there you go. To use a very cliched saying, and going, oh, they're the life and soul of the party. But people do kind of expect you to do that. But the people that know me most also can tell of going, oh no, he needs to step away. And then you sneak away. That's why the people that know me probably sometimes call me a bit moody as well, because they know when I'm getting a little bit overwhelmed with being the sort of centre of attention, because I might get a little bit grumpy bum.
I mean, I never say moody. I might call you grumpy.
I was going to say moody.
Yeah, also my nieces tend to call me Grumpy Uncle Michael sometimes, or the man-child. It's one or the other.
Like Grandad.
Yeah, exactly. My my dad, their granddad, may be quite similar in that respect.
Yes, exactly.
But we do all have that social bucket, don't we, that gets full, and we have to kind of allow that to come back down again, which I think is really important.
Put a little hole in the bottom of the bucket and let it drain out a little bit.
Yeah, that little tap.
Exactly.
I mean, I know me personally, I need more downtime away from people than you do. So I totally agree. It is important. It's important to have that social time. It's important to realize that is really important for everyone, whether you're, very extroverted or introverted. That social connection is incredibly important, but also having the time for yourself to decompress and to just kind of create that conversation and that relationship with yourself, which can be difficult as well.
Definitely. So Michael, just another question for you, if that's okay. So when you've experienced difficulties in your life, so maybe that might be something quite challenging or a dark time, is there anything that's helped bring happiness into your life?
So most years when I am rehearsing a new show, that could probably be typified as a fairly difficult time. I'm sure Tess can testify here that I'm not always the most fun person to be around when I'm trying to learn a new show.
You cannot see me, but I am nodding.
Yep, she is quite vigorously. And in general, I try to create a separation between whatever it is that might be challenging me or might be stressing me out or causing me some anxiety or something like that. And I try to go, okay, well, I'm going to focus on that right now. Then I'm going to take a break from it. I'm going to take a step away and do another activity that basically takes up all of my attention. So again, whether it's playing on the computer, whether it's going for a walk, whether it's playing cards or chess or whatever, just something that takes my attention away from what might be causing me sort of anxiety and things like that. And obviously, the working closely in my job with a single person at a time, because when we're on tour, there's just two of us. It's myself and the actress, the work colleague. The female actor is in fact what we should call this. And yeah, sometimes there are difficult times there. There's one year in particular that was quite difficult. And I absolutely every day, I would get to the hotel and I'd go for a walk, because I had to just decompress from the several hours in the van or several hours with this person who we may not really have got on very well. And I think it was important to take that moment to get out and clear the air and then go, right, okay, this evening is away from that, and then tomorrow's a new day.
Yeah, it very much feels, Michael, what you're kind of saying in quite a lot of the things that we've been speaking about today is about just taking yourself away and having that time, and that moving that focus onto something else. So when something might feel quite challenging, is to kind of stay really focused on that for that time, that amount of time, but then moving your focus completely onto something else and just having that. I suppose sometimes in CBT we might refer to that as like a bit of a distraction technique as well, but in a healthy way. So still acknowledging those feelings that are happening and what that challenging time that might be happening somewhere else in your life, but being able to separate that so that you can still bring that happiness in a different area of your life and bring that in, and so that it doesn't take over.
Yeah, I guess
all
it's
aspects.
that old cliche, isn't it, that you tell children of, okay, when you get angry, go away and count to 10 and come back. And I guess it's sort of an extension of that, but an active thing of going, right, no, I'm gonna go for a walk. And is it titration where you focus from one place to another? And
Yeah, I was actually just going to say that as well. I like that you listen to me.
I do listen sometimes.
Yeah, so that whole idea of like, noticing, okay, yes, I'm having these feelings, and seeing where that arises within your body as well, right? That physical reaction, because all of our emotions then get shown within the body, right? And so it's like noticing, okay, so whatever this is, whether it's stressful day at work or something going on with a friend, right? Notice how your body is reacting to that, and notice where in your body you're feeling that. So maybe you're feeling a tightness in the shoulders, a tightness in the chest, and then also finding another part of your body where you're not feeling that. And maybe that's in like your pinky finger or your little toe or your ear, like, oh, okay, that's a neutral sensation. So you go between the two to then remind yourself, no, I'm okay, I'm fine, right? And then it's little by little, you spend a little bit longer on one than the other, right? The neutral version. And that helps remind your brain, your body, oh, I can relax, I can be calmer, and I don't have to be in this fight flight response.
it's like shifting that attention into it to something else.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there advice that you would give your younger self, and what would it be?
Don't be so serious. No, I was I was a very, very serious teenager. No, I'd say honestly, don't stress about it a lot as much. Don't constantly think that life is gonna go one way and it has to go that way, and if it doesn't, I've failed. Because I definitely thought that life was gonna go a different direction than it's done. I don't think I expected that I'd live in Spain, working for a touring theatre company, and I didn't think I'd be married to an American.
I was actually just thinking to myself, like, if he doesn't add that, I'm going to put that in. Because how many times has that been mentioned? I didn't think I was going to be married to an American, especially after moving to Spain.
Yeah, but no, yeah, it'd be don't focus on the big picture too much. Don't worry about it, because, as the Spanish would say, que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. Because, life happens no matter what. So go with it.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Definitely living in the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And I think that's kind of what I try to do. I think I live quite often in the moment. I do stress a little bit on little details. I go, no, we must do it like this.
But I think a lot of us do that, and it's so easy to get pulled into those stressful moments, and it is about taking that time, as you said, is take a step back and realize, no, I'm here, I'm here in the now, right? And I can enjoy the now. And as you say, you don't have to follow like to the T your dreams as a kid. Like I think we've talked about before, like I wanted to be a veterinarian when I was a kid. I am definitely not a veterinarian now, and I'm very happily not a veterinarian.
And you're not
now.
a country singer.
And I'm not. Oh yes, well.
You want to be a veterinarian country singer.
That is so true.
Married to Garth Brooks.
Yep.
So Garth, if you're listening, she probably would still marry you. To be fair.
I'd switch you up.
I'm
just kidding.
Don't blame me. It's Garth Brooks.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's true. Exactly. Yeah. I'm not a country singer, and I'm not a vet. I am very much not, and I'm very happily not.
No, and obviously. I'm fairly lucky in that, obviously, because I'm married to Tess. No, I'm fairly lucky in that there was only a couple of things really that as a kid, I wanted to be as an adult. One of them was a fighter pilot, and I'm not that. And the other was an actor, and that is what I am. So, I did actually go, I want to be an actor, and I did become an actor. So I'm quite lucky in that respect.
So I'm going to put Michael on the spot now and ask him if he can remember what I wanted to be when I was a child.
Oh, at what age? Because I think for a long time when you got a little bit older, you wanted to be what you do. You wanted to be, to go through psychology and become a counsellor and a therapist and things like that. And before that, you didn't want to be a vet.
No. Similar.
Or a marine biologist. Ooh, was it a marine biologist?
No,
I wanted to be a zoologist for a little while.
No.
You're going to have to give me a hint.
So it's similar to a vet, but you're not working on animals.
Oh, you wanted to be a surgeon.
I did.
Of course you did.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I love that.
And she was really bad at the game operations.
So we're very happy she's not.
I think the thing that put me off was the fact that I wanted to work in A&E, and then after watching ER and all the kind of soaps around doctors and hospitals and Holby City and casualty, that then I realised that actually it's not really like that. And I was like, I don't want to do that then.
Yeah, I do remember you actually. I remember you wanted to be a surgeon. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Miss Sarah.
I love learning new things about you guys. Okay. This is awesome. So, Michael, at the end of every episode, we like to offer our listeners a happy edit tool, something small that they can do to bring a little bit more happiness into their lives. Is there one you'd like to share?
Personally, I'd say just find something that you enjoy doing that is something that you find relaxing. So whether it's listening to music or watching a film or going for a walk or watching something in the cinema or the theatre, or going for a beer or a coffee or a tea or just something that you know you enjoy doing, and just go and do it. I think we're lucky here in Spain that there is the culture of you'll get to 6 o'clock on a Tuesday and go, oh, I fancy just going for a little wander and maybe getting a wine or a soft drink or a cup of tea. And then you can just send a message to one of your friends and say, hey, you fancy getting a drink? And most people will go, yep, sure. And we are quite lucky that we can do that in Spain, because I know that in the States and other Northern European countries, for example, that's not as frequent. One of our friends, Dennis, is from the Netherlands, and that's the one big thing that he really likes about living here in comparison to the Netherlands, because whenever he goes home to the Netherlands to visit family, he ends up going for a walk and an ice cream on a Tuesday on his own, because no one else is willing to do that during the week because they're so focused on going, no, it's a work day, I can't enjoy myself. Whereas here in Spain we tend to go, yeah, well, that work's finished, let's go and go for a walk, get an ice cream, walk down the beach. Not on the beach because, you know, trainers and things.
Weirdo.
Yeah. I don't like sand in my shoes. So yeah, no, that would be my takeaway, is like, yeah, just go for a walk, go and get an ice cream, go and have a drink. Yeah, just go and enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Take a step back.
I like that. It's really, really good advice. I think it's so important that we remember that we can do things that we enjoy, and we can do them every day. It doesn't have to just be saved for a weekend. You know, and maybe some certain things, fine, but, you know, there can be something that brings you joy that you can do every single day.
And that's actually advice that I do follow. It's, you know, you might give advice to people and go, oh, do this. And then you're looking at yourself going, yeah, I probably don't do that myself. But yeah, I tend to actually do that. So obviously with work, we drive a lot in the van. So I will get to a hotel, and I may have been in the van for 5 hours after doing 3 shows. And quite often the one thing that you want to do is just go, I'm going to sit on that bed. I'm probably going to fall asleep for half an hour. And I definitely did do that for a couple of years of I didn't stop myself. Whereas now I tend to go, nope, if I get on that bed, I'm going to nap. And that nap is going to go from 20 minutes to an hour and a half. And I'm going to feel terrible that I've not done anything. So what my tour partner and I tend to do is we'll check into a hotel, throw our bags in our rooms, and go, right, we'll meet in 10 minutes, and we go for a walk. Whilst I've been to all of these places many, many times, because I've done the job now for quite a while, you'll still find things that you didn't know in a tiny little town in Andalusia or a tiny little town in Catalonia, and you go, oh, I didn't know that castle was on this hill. I must have been walking around with my eyes closed because it's there. And yeah, just go and see things, go and do things. Don't sit in your room and be boring.
Definitely. And I think it is so important, isn't it, to just kind of just take those little moments, whatever that might be. So like you say, whether that's going for a walk, or whether that might be having a cup of tea or a coffee or a wine, you know, or reading a book, you know, just having those small moments. It doesn't need to be a big gesture, and we've spoken about that before, haven't we, Tess? About It doesn't have to be a big gesture. It can be something really small, just to kind of check back in with yourself. And
exactly, small gestures every day.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, well, that is your happy edit tool for the week. Small gestures every day. And we hope that you have enjoyed this conversation. And if you guys want to connect a little bit more with Michael, is there any way that they can connect with you?
So there's a couple of ways. One of them would be, I'm always at the end of one of the, you know, the phones, the paper phones, where it's the paper phone, paper cup on one end, paper cup on the other, and you drill a hole in the bottom and you put string. I've always got one of them with me, so you can connect with me via one of those.
Awesome. That's going to be so helpful for everyone.
Yep. Owl carrier pigeon or owl is another. No, to be serious now. I'm on the social medias. I'm on Facebook, but if you just search Michael Flanagan, there is very probably a couple of thousand of us. That might not be that helpful. But Michael Flanagan on Instagram, if you follow Tess or Sarah or Edit or the Happy Edit on socials,
which will be coming very soon.
bum, bum, bum. I'm on there. I'm with these guys, so you can find me on Instagram, for example, under Michael Flanagan. Find me on there. Please give me a like and follow. Don't really. I'm fine.
Just to add, so thinking about finding you on the internet. So the girls, so my kids, were looking for their Uncle Michael on Google, and then they found his headshots.
Oh, they are pretty special from about 13 years ago. I had very long hair.
They were very excited about finding him and was like, "Oh, is internet famous?"
Yeah. Also, obviously, the theatre-wise...
I was going to say, tell us about your theatre company. We can find you on that too.
You can find Moving On Instagram. And it is Moving On Theatre Company. If you put that into Instagram, you will find us on there. And you'll find some photographs of me on there. And we also have a website that is theatreinenglish.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, my love.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Michael. I think we're gonna head to the beach, I think, at some point.
We are. We're
Sounds
heading
good.
to the beach later.
That's our little thing for the day.
And we're going to go find some dinosaur, I can't speak, footprints.
It's a new type. It's a dinosaur footprint.
Dinosaurs!
You heard it here first.
Dinosaurs. Patent pending.
Well, Michael, thank you so much for coming on with us. We really have appreciated having you on here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. At the Happy Edit podcast, we're mindful that the podcast is not in replacement of therapy. If you do need further support, please do contact us on our contact details in the show notes. And we're more than happy to offer further support and guidance and direct you to places like the counselling directory or therapy directories. If you do also need further support, we would also recommend you contacting your primary healthcare provider. Thanks very much for listening, and we'll see you all soon. Bye.